What's up guys, macadii here. Now today I'm going to be doing some laddering with our Morgana, the Mega Gardevoir team. You guys absolutely smashed that like button and within about 18 hours managed to reach the 25 like goal. So I am bringing you a extra long laddering session where we will be using this team and just giving it our best just to see if there's any other ways we can improve it. But you guys really didn't have too many suggestions on how to improve it. I'm really pleased with the team personally. You guys seem to think it was pretty good. The only thing we've changed is the relaxed nature on the Quagsire. And that's pretty much it so far. So it'd be good to try and get try this team out in practice and we'll see how it goes. I encourage you guys, give the team a go as well. And any other suggestions, we can try and make this an absolutely top-notch team. So I'll see you guys at the first battle. Okay, so here we have our very first battle against a Mega Lopunny. That'd be quite interesting, a Mecha Lopunny. Anyway, so I guess that is most likely going to be his Mega there. So it's quite an interesting team. So I guess you've got the two walls going on there with Rotom and Sylveon. That Rotom is going to cause a few issues, but we should be able to work our way around it. I guess Ferrothorn can stall it out with some Leech Seed action. We have to watch out. Actually, no, he may have Hidden Power Grass. I very much doubt it. So actually, Quagsire is going to come in and be pretty useful, actually, especially with that Dragonite there. There's going to be no weakness policy shenanigans with this team. That's most likely Hidden Power Fire as well, so we have to watch out with that for Ferrothorn. So in terms of lead, I am quite tempted to lead with Landorus, just because I'm not too sure what he's going to go for. And it means we can get a U-turn off and all that sort of great stuff. So I think that's probably the way we're going to go. We have to watch out with that Rotom because obviously we don't really want to get burnt. He does lead off with the Rotom to start with, so we have to decide what is going to get burnt. And to be honest, I think probably we don't really want Morgana to get burnt because once the Scizor is out the way and the Lopunny's out the way, I think we pretty cleanly sweep through his team. I guess that could be Scarf though. So actually maybe Morgana won't be as useful as we think it will be. So maybe Morgana is the way to go actually, because we've got pretty respectable special defense if he decides to go for the Hydro Pump. But to be honest, I think he's probably going to just try and burn. So I think that's probably the best bet. Yeah, we're going to go out into Morgana, hopefully just take a burn. And I know Ferrothorn could have been an option, but the Synchronize as well. I forgot about the Synchronizer, but that's absolutely brilliant as well. So we can Mega Evolve here, and I think Hyper Voice is probably the way to go because it's going to do absolutely huge damage to everything that comes in. Even more, I don't know if it will do more than Focus Blast. Hyper Voice, this thing lives it. Blimey. Okay, fair enough. I'm quite surprised. Maybe this is more of a specially defensive set. That won't make... I guess Scizor. Maybe it's a Scizor... it's maybe Scizor Rotom Core. Got it. Yeah. So that's probably specially defensive, actually. That's fair enough. So that's still pretty respectable damage. In terms of his switch-ins, he does go out into the Magnezone here. So we can quite simply go out... Quag is an option. We definitely can't go into Ferro. Because I don't think there's a huge amount, because normally it's HP Fire. I think that's probably the best bet. I guess we have got the T-Tar. T-Tar might be a better bet, actually, because I don't want to get hit by a Steel move, that's the thing. Thunderous definitely isn't. It's really tricky to know because he could be going for HP Fire here, predicting the Ferrothorn. So I think we're going to risk the biscuit and we're going to go for Landorus, just because obviously ground type and everything like that. He goes for the he gets the crit as well. So we're gonna U-turn here, predicting that Rotom to come in. Hopefully. Nope, it doesn't. So he's going to be going for another Flash Cannon. We didn't see any evidence. I think that's probably Specs, to be honest, considering how much damage that did. So I think probably Pharaoh is the way to go, and it gives us the opportunity to set up rocks. I really hope I'm not making a stupid play here. So Ferrothorn comes in, and we can just set up the Stealth Rocks here. He has probably got Defog on the Sizzle, but that is going to be another turn for him. So we should be fine. I would rather just get my rocks up, and then, especially with the Rotom, just start whistling that down as much as possible. But I can see maybe the Lopunny coming in next, which isn't particularly great. But yeah, taking that much damage with Lando was just, yeah, pretty horrific. But there's not much we can do. To be honest, Quag would not have been able to take that very well at all. So he goes out into the Sylveon. I'm not exactly sure what this guy's going to be doing. It is quite tempting to go for maybe, we'll go for a Protect, and we'll see what this guy's game is. They don't normally run Calm Mind, so he has the Hin power. Yeah, we all know what that is. So I think in terms of the switching for that, I don't really want to be sending in Morgana again, but Sylveon definitely causes a few issues. I think we're going to have to risk it. We're going to go for Morgana, just in case this guy is either like Scarfed or Specs. Okay, that does quite a decent chunk, so that's probably is. But we're going to be able to go for another Hyper Voice here. I know it is the end of Morgana, unfortunately, but it will have done quite a decent chunk, especially that Rotom as well. And if we can get that Rotom out of the way, it definitely opens up for Lando. So he does, yeah, it does go out into the Rotom, as we do get the Hyper Voice off. Unfortunately, we are going to succumb to the burn this turn. So from here, I think probably Quagsire is the way to go. I don't really see much that... I guess the Sylveon could potentially handle that. I do kind of predict the Scizor coming in. It's difficult to say. But I think, actually, maybe Landorus. I think we're going to go for Landorus this turn. Because if anything outside of the Scizor... He goes out into the Dragonite now. Okay, that's quite interesting. Well, we can go for a Stone Edge here. And that should do a pretty... Oh, no, E-Speed. We're going to go out... No, that's not good. I completely forgot about that. That's such a pain. Well, luckily we do outspeed with the Thunderous. So we could go for the T-Bolt there. The other options we got is we've got Tyranitar. We could go for a very powerful Stone Edge. And actually that looks pretty good in my opinion. Oh, that's such a pain. So we're going to go for the Stone Edge here. And actually looking at it, I hadn't realised we had so many ground types or steel types. So actually, he does go for the Dragon Dance here. And that does just completely KO. So, bit of greed going on there. But no, I should have seen that. Oh, I should have seen that coming from a mile away. But that was a real mistake. You know when you sort of spam the cancel button to try and stop those sorts of things. Yeah, I'm really not doing this team justice. I really apologise, guys. He goes out into the Lopunny this turn. We are going to have to go out into the Quag. He might decide to go for the Fake Out this turn. And I think Quag should be able to handle this guy. There's no real setup that I can think of. Hopefully he does just go for the Fake Out. See, I would disagree with going for the Fake Out there. You'd be much better off going for a high jump kick, because nothing really appreciates that. But there's not much you can do. So we're going to go for a Scald here. It'd be good to get a burn off on this, and we can get a burn off on anything would be really good. So return, it does absolutely nothing. And we don't snag the burn, unfortunately, but we can recover up this turn. So we know for a fact that Quag might actually be able to pull the team through. I guess the Sylveon's still around, which is going to cause us a few issues, but we do have Thunderous, which should be able to handle that, hopefully. And I have a feeling, yeah, he's just left, so I think we're going to count that as a win. Quag, you are very bulky. But, yeah, there are a few, as I said, a few misplays on my part. I should have remembered. I'm going to make sure that I always remember that E-Speed. I normally do, but, yeah, it was a stupid play on my part. So we're going to move on to the next battle. So I'll just see you guys there. Okay, so we got another team here, which is looking very sort of UU-esque almost. Because you've got Alakazam, which is UU. Most likely his... I guess that's probably Mega Aggron, actually. A Conkeldurr, which is... looking at this, maybe is only OU. I'm not 100% sure Goodra. Don't quote me on this, but... I'm not sure. But I know the rest of these guys are most likely UU. I think Vaporeon is. Anyway, so... looking at this guy's team, he, as I said, he has got the Aggron. They are all grounded, which makes Landorus's life so much easier because I can just go ahead and go crazy with Earthquakes. No Earthquake resists as well. So I'm pretty happy to actually lead with Lando. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go for Lando. And actually Lando does pretty much demolish this guy's team. So he goes out into the Goodra to start with. And to be honest, I'm quite happy to U-turn out here and probably go out into Morgana. Because I'm not 100% confident that I can actually take a... he'd be able to take a Dragon Pulse. Looking at that... no, not Dragon Pulse, sorry, an Earthquake. Looking at that, he might have been able to... I might have been able to take him out. Probably not, to be honest. But we're going to go out to Morgana now. Because we can go into that and we can go for that beautiful, beautiful Hyper Voice. As he goes for Toxic. Fair enough. We get another Synchronize off, which is absolutely excellent. So we can go for the Mega Evo here. And we can go for the Hyper Voice. I don't think there's any point predicting... I guess we could predict the Aggron. But we'd still have Focus Blast for that as well. But to be honest, we're better off... We got Quag, which is just an absolutely beautiful stop to the Aggron. And also the Conk as well. So that should be pretty decent. So we're going to go for the Hyper Voice. And I think there's not a huge amount of sort of great switch-ins that this guy can choose from. So I think this will probably be a 2-hit KO. It is a 2-hit KO. So we're going to go for another Hyper Voice, I think. And we'll see how much this does. If this guy's more specially defensive, which it looks to be, we might be better off going for a Side Shock if he decides to protect this turn. Because otherwise a Hyper Voice... Actually, a Hyper Voice may take him out. We'll have to see. But there's no harm in going for another one this turn. Because, I mean, with the Leftovers recovery, it is going to bring it above 55%. So it's going to be clutch. We'll have to see. But, yeah, he's got the Protect. But then, actually, Hyper Voice is so much stronger. I think, actually, we're probably better off saving Morgana and switching out into... Probably, yeah, we're going to go out into Ferroform because we can set up our rocks. He's not got a Defogger. And we're not going to be able to... Well, I don't really want to waste the time. I guess I could have taunted there, actually. Why didn't I think of taunt? Oh, well. Anyway, we're going to go for the Stealth Rocks, I think. Yeah. We're going to go for the Stealth Rocks as he goes out into the Goodra this turn. And I'm guessing... Yeah, he was probably just to heal up, but I guess he might have... I'm not exactly sure. We're going to go for the Protect here. I'm interested. Let's see what he's got, because he might have the Flamethrower. I think that's probably his only move in his arsenal, if I can think of, that will actually be able to hit me for that much damage, because an Ice Beam is going to do absolutely nothing. But yeah, it would have been good to have taunted that Vaporeon. I wish I should have thought about that. But to be honest, we're going to have plenty of other opportunities, and that toxic damage was really, really racking up there. It would be good to have some sort of recovery with Morgana. Maybe I shouldn't use it as much and sort of use it for switching. So you get the Protect as... Yeah, he's got the Flamethrower. So this turn we can actually go out probably into T-Tar, because we're Assault Vest with the Sandstream. And then we can go for a very, very powerful Stone Edge, which is probably our best bet from there. So we go out into T-Tar as we hits the beam with a Flamethrower, and that really isn't doing much at all. And we're just going to go for a Stone Edge, because we haven't got Earthquake on this. I forgot about that. But I think Stone Edge is probably the best way to go. We have to remember with Alakazam as well, we can trap that Alakazam, which is really, really good as well. So I think that's definitely going to make a difference later on. I know it might pack Focus Blast, but I have a feeling from calcs I did ages and ages and ages and ages ago that we can live a Focus Blast from an Alakazam. So he goes down to the Alakazam this turn. Just goes. I have no idea what that switch was. No idea at all. Okay. Fair enough. So he's just thrown away his Alakazam, which is probably one of the most scary things he's got on his team. Especially if that was sashed. So I have no idea what that guy was smoking or what he's doing at the minute, but we will have to see. But from here, I guess the Conk could come in. The Aggron does come in here. We can just go out to Quag. Like, Quag just doesn't really care, to be honest. And I know he's still got the Vaporeon, but we do have Ferroform, which can wall that pretty well. It is going to turn into be a little bit of a stall match, I think, especially with the Wish on the Vaporeon being able to get that Goodra back up. But then T-Tar can just completely wall that Goodra. So I think in the end of the day, it may end up being a little bit stally, but I think we can break through. So we go out into Quag as he Megas up, and he just goes to the Superpower, which does absolutely nothing. So we're gonna go for a. Ooh, we could be cheeky. Let's be cheeky. Because I have a feeling that Vaporeon. No. The plays. So I go out into Morgana here. Now, question is, are we going to go for the Focus Blast? We may. Let's see. So, how useful will Morgana be? We can beat the Goodra. Nidoking, I guess we can beat, and we can beat that. So we probably want to keep this around. So we can go back. We're going to go back out to Quag. There's no point letting Morgana take any more damage. He probably is going to go for the Dragon Tail. He doesn't. He ends up going out into the Nidoking this turn. So we can then go out into not much, unfortunately. Something is going to have to be sacked, I think. The other option is no, because we don't want to risk going out into Lando and getting smacked. I guess it's probably an Earth Power coming my way, but there could also be an Ice Beam. So, T-Tar may be the one that has to go down, because to be honest, with that, the Nidoking, the Aggron, yeah, T-Tar is probably our least valuable mon, unfortunately, so we are going to have to let that go down, as he goes for the Sucker Punch. Oh, fair enough. So, the question is, we could either go and be cheeky and go out to Lando, but I think we're just gonna go for the Ice Punch here, because I have a feeling I might be able to live a hit, because we are really, really bulky. We do live a hit, my guess was right, and we can go for the Ice Punch. We don't take him out, unfortunately, but we can. We're gonna have to let T-Tar go down, unfortunately. But the Nidoking is now out of action, and we can go. Oh, he dies to the Life Orb there. See, that's kind of why I prefer the special set, because the special set, while the moves are lower in power, you do get the sheer force boost, whereas Earthquake actually doesn't. So if this guy was, I guess, in this example, it's not a great example, but if he was packing Earth Power and I had similar defenses, then that wouldn't have been as great for him. So Thunderous is definitely an option, because with the Goodra, especially the Vaporeon, that might be the way to go. I guess Landorus is also an option, but I think, actually, yeah, maybe Landorus is the way to go. We're going to go out to Landorus because we can handle that. We can handle the Aggron as well, because we can just go for an EQ, as he does go out into the Aggron this turn. And we get the attack drop as well, so I'm not scared at all to go for this EQ. And we might be able to 2-hit KO that Vaporeon. Now, if we can take that out, his whole core just completely falls apart, and I think we can then demolish him from there. It's that Vaporeon that's scaring me at the minute. Conk isn't too bad. That really doesn't do as much as I expected. He does miss his Dragon Tail, though, which is absolutely excellent. So I'm just going to keep going for EQs, because we can just whittle this guy down up to a point of where he's just completely useless, and also to a point where any of my Pokemon will be able to take him out. I guess the only exception will be the Ferrothorn, but we can always Leech Seed that and start taking him down that way. So, yeah, I think another EQ is probably the best way to go. But I don't regret losing T-Tar. I think that was probably the one that had to go, if anything. He goes for the Iron Head. Now, personally, maybe I will probably be more tempted to go for Heavy Slam on that guy. It is a little bit difficult to tell. He goes out into the Goodra. We can see now, yeah, that was a crit, so it's difficult to tell. But I think, to be honest, we were... I don't think from full a EQ would have taken him out. But, yeah, so that's the Goodra out of the way at least. So actually, Ferrothorn is now much, much more viable. I guess he, as I said, he does still have the Conkeldurr, which according to Showdown, with a few bugs that it seems to be having, it's called Aggron. But... I don't know. Anyway, in terms of switching, it's difficult to tell. But I am quite tempted, if I can, to explode on the Conk. Because, oh, he does end up forfeiting. So, that's another great battle. And, yeah, I'll see you at the next battle. Okay, so we've got a very, very, very obvious rain team going on here. So, he doesn't actually have a actual, like... Politoed or anything like that, so that's quite surprising. But I can definitely see this team causing issues. So obviously he's got the Mega Swampert there, Toxicroak as well with that dry skin recovery, and a Momola which Thundurus just rips apart. So I think Thundurus is going to come in quite useful there. As is Ferrothorn, so we need to make sure we keep those guys alive. Quag should be able to handle this guy pretty well. Especially if he starts doing some SD shenanigans. So, I think in terms of lead, I am kind of anticipating the Tornadus lead. So, it is quite tempting to lead with... Actually, maybe Thundurus is the way to go. Because we can go for the T-Bolt there. He does have the Electros, which is going to cause a few issues. But... I guess that could also be a lead as well. It's really, really tricky to tell. So... Very, very, very tricky. Because I really don't want Rain Up, if possible. So, I think we're going to go out into... We're going to start off with Gardevoir. Because if he goes out into the Almaldo, he ends up going into the Tornadus. So, this guy probably will be setting up the rain. But we cannot outspeed, unfortunately. So, we're just going to go for the Hyper Voice. Because there's no point taunting if we're slower. But we will be able to taunt that Almaldo further down the line. Nothing really, really appreciates a Hyper Voice from this... well, actually, it's a guy. Yeah, from this guy. He does go for the Tailwind, as that just KOs. So, I don't know if that was worth it or not. We will have to see. So, it seems to be a combination of a Tailwind plus water... plus rain team? Very, very strange. I'm not exactly sure what to make of this team. We will have to see. Because, I mean, it's got the rain, but then it's only got a few offensive Pokemon. So he goes out to the Toxicroak. We can just go out into Quag. Quag's just beautiful. Quag just wools everything. And, yeah, Toxicroak shouldn't be able to do anything at all to this guy. Well, yeah, Toxicroak shouldn't be able to do anything to Quag at all. And I think it's tempting to then double out into Thundurus because we can go for a T-Bolt predicting that Alamomola from coming in. That might be one thing that could happen. So he goes to the Ice Punch. He gets the freeze. Ooh, oh, we got Scald. We're gonna have to go for the Scald, unfortunately, because freeze means that we can actually unfor using Scald. It's a really something that some people don't know about. He's going to SD, and we do 4 from the Scald, and it makes me look really stupid, but it is the only way to really recover. And I don't think this guy realises that actually I'm unaware, so he can set up as much as he wants, and it's really not going to be bothering me that much, because an EQ just takes him out. Oh, great. This Quagsire, you are just absolutely incredible. That's absolutely brilliant. So, oh, great. But yeah, Quagsire is actually really, really good. Considering it's down in NU, I apologise for not using Quagsire earlier because it's just great. So from here, I don't think this guy has really got much because I guess the Swampert He still doesn't know if I'm unaware or not. I guess he probably guesses. The Alomomola does come out this turn. Well, from here, Ferrothorn kind of walls that guy. So we're just going to go out into Ferrothorn because we can get a Leech Seed off on whatever decides to switch in. And I think that's probably the best bet. We can't be hit by Toxic. I guess this could be a Rain Dance setter, but to be honest, it's probably more of his physical wall. It is quite interesting because I'm more of a sort of hyper offense Rain guy. I don't know if you guys have seen my Sun team, or I had a Rain team from like ages ago that I did in PU. He does go for the Protect this turn as we get the Leech Seed, and unfortunately he dodges it because of the Protect, but we are going to go again because there's no point missing out on some lovely HP. I don't really know what this guy's going to be switching in on, because the Electros, I guess the Electros could have Flamethrower. He's just fishing for the burn, and he gets the burn as well. Ugh. Not much you can do about that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to be cheeky, and we're going to double Leech Seed, because this guy cannot touch us. He's burnt us, and if I were a betting man, he probably is going to be switching out here as well. I'm not sure into what. He sets up the Rain this turn, and we missed anyway, so it doesn't make much difference. So from here we can set up, we're just going to go for another Leech Seed, because we want our Leech Seed on whatever's going to be coming in. Most likely the Mega Swampert, but then to be honest, Ferrothorn just walls that, so I don't really know what this guy's going to try and do against this guy, or against my guy. It's difficult to tell, because the Almaldo really won't have that much. The Electros does come in, and that's probably going to have Flamethrower, to be honest. I'm not really sure what else this guy can pack. So we're going to go out. I know it's a bit weird, but we're going to go out into T-Tar here, because we can actually pursue this Electros. And actually, once this Electros is out the way, it does make it life a little bit easier, especially for Thunderous. As the Flamethrower, we can also get rid of the Sandstorm. And he gets the burn on the Flamethrower. Oh, well. Not much you can do about that. So we can go for, it's tempting just to double out, but to be honest, we can always just go out into Quag. It doesn't make much difference. T-Tar is now pretty much useless now, but there's not much you can do. I did get the crit, so actually I take that back. I'm not actually as useless as we thought. So he is going to be whittled down by Sandstorm and Leech Seed. So actually it's not too bad actually. And I'm going to be cheeky. I'm going to go for the Pursuit here, just in case he decides to go. Because, actually, maybe Stone Edge is the better way. Because I don't want this guy leaving. And, to be honest, I can take a hit. And I should be able to, I think this will work out. In my mind, it works out. Yeah, Pursuit, he did end up trying to leave. So that was worth doing. But now that makes life a little bit easier as well, especially with Landorus as well, because I can just spam EQ a little bit more freely. He goes down to the Swampert this turn, as we're just going to go for a Crunch, because I think that's probably our best bet. I'm going to let T-Tar go down, because, actually no. No, we're going to go out into Quag, Hopefully the cancel button works. Think about it, that wasn't particularly clever, but we'll have to see. I think Quag should be able to take a hit from this guy. He might go for the Rain Dance. He goes for the Ice Punch. As long as we don't get the freeze again, we're fine. Okay, so we can go for a recover here. And I don't think there's much that this guy can do. It's good to keep T-Tar around because we can set up the sand whenever we want. And our team is pretty good with the sand, actually, because we've got 4 things that are immune to it. Which works out pretty well. But I don't think this Swampert's going to be having much fun at all, really. So, I don't know what he was predicting with the Ice Punch. I guess he maybe was predicting the Thunderous or even the Landorus, because obviously we wouldn't be able to do anything if he'd, it wouldn't have affected us if we were going for if he went for an EQ. I'm forgetting how to speak, I'm sorry. He goes to the superpower and Quag just eats that up. So we can go for another recover here. I'd like to be back up to full just in case he starts doing any more shenanigans and things like that. Maybe Scald is the better play. Actually, Toxic is the better play because I want to get that Toxic on that Alomomola. EQ does a huge amount, but luckily the cancel button pulls through for us, and we actually have enough HP to go for a Toxic now. Whew, I didn't realise that would do as much. And it's got, wait, he's got the attack drop as well. That's a disgusting amount of damage. Considering the attack drop. Oh, it was a max roll, that's why. But anyway, we can now stall this guy out because we can just go for another recover here. But yeah, 41% with an attack drop. That's pretty impressive attack for Mega Swampert. It's a Pokemon I haven't actually used yet, and I would quite like to make another sort of team building video, a bit like Morgana about that. But obviously there are a huge wealth of Megas to choose from. So maybe one day, but we'll have to see. He does end up switching out into the Almaldo as we get the recover off. I don't particularly want to risk getting Toxic or anything like that. So I am quite happy to go out probably into Ferroform because I can get the Leech Seed off. If he decides to go for the Rain Dance, he goes to the Swords Dance here. Okay. I'm just going to go back out into Quag because we've got Unaware. And people seem to be forgetting about the fact that we do have Unaware, which is quite surprising. But we are going to have to watch out with that Swampert with that Earthquake, because if that 40%, that's going to be doing 60%, which is almost as much as we're recovering. So we're going to have to keep our HP high for that guy. We have still got Pharaoh for that, for Swampert as well, and especially with it being Toxic, it is going to start being whittled down from there. So it's just a case of making a few good switches. The Alamomola as well. I think Morgana should be able to rip that apart with a Hyper Voice. We have got Thunderous for that as well. So we go back out into Quag as he goes to the X-Scissor, and that really doesn't do a huge amount. He has Life Orb as well, so actually I'm pretty happy to go for a recover here and stall this guy to Oblivion, because there's not a huge amount this guy can do to me. The question is, though, with the Alamomola, whether I would be better off getting a Toxic off on that guy, because it would then weaken its position as well. He goes to the Rock Slide. I don't know what this guy's doing, because he's going for flinches. That's kind of fair enough, but I think Quag will hopefully pull through. He's going to have to hit a lot of Rock Slides to make it any difference, really. I don't think he's realised that... yeah, thinking about it, going back to the Swampert, I don't think he's realised... Yeah, he's not realised that actually I'm not Water Absorb, so he's going to have a little bit of a shock. So we're actually going to go for a Scald here, because I'd love to get a burn on this guy, just in case Quag starts to falter. It means that it's completely out of the way. And this guy just has absolutely no idea of what set I am. As he gets taken out this turn, which is absolutely excellent. He's probably going to go out into the maybe the Mega Swampert this turn. But this looks to be a potential 6-0. And it looks, yeah, he ends up forfeiting. So, yeah, that was a really good battle, actually. And it shows that, even though I know it's quite a quirky rain team, but this team actually seems to be working relatively well against those sorts of teams. No one seems to know that Quagsire gets Unaware, which works really well in my favour. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and obviously, we'll move on to the next battle. Okay, so we got our last battle with our Mega Gardevoir, and if you guys are wondering why my shirt has changed, it's because I'm filming it at a different time. I completely forgot to do the last battle. Okay, so looking at this guy's team, he has got a Keldeo, which Morgana unfortunately doesn't outspeed, so that's going to cause a bit of issues. Quag should be able to handle that reasonably well, I think. I'm not too sure. We will have to see. So, the Garchomp is also going to be quite scary. Luckily, we do have Thunderous for that with the HP Ice, as well as Quag as well. Should be able to work its way around that. Heatran as well. We've got Landorus for that and Quag as well. So those are going to be okay. He has got the Mega Pinsir as well. So we're going to have to rely on Quag from stopping him from setting up and all of that jazz. So in terms of lead, I kind of anticipate the Garchomp lead, to be honest. So I'm quite tempted to lead. Maybe not with Morgana, but I'm going to lead with Thunderous, I think. Be a little bit cheeky, see how that goes. He hasn't got any Volt Switch immunities outside of Garchomp, so we're just going to go for HP Ice, because I'm pretty sure we can snag a KO with that guy, and we are going to be outspeeding as well, which is absolutely excellent. So, as I said, I don't think this is going to be as mega, especially since he brought Pinsir, because no one brings Pinsir up if it's not Mega Pinsir. So we will have to see. I know I don't really want to make too many over predictions to start with and end up losing my Thunderous on turn 1, which is why I'm just going to go for the HP Ice. Hopefully he's going to predict that I'm going to over predict, but we will have to see. He is taking a while trying to decide his move, but I'm not too sure whether that's good or if that's bad. He has got, probably his best switching would end up being the Heatran, if it's going to be anything. He does go out into the Heatran this turn, and we do pop his Balloon, which is absolutely excellent. So this is looking to be maybe a specially defensive set. We could go for the Thunderbolt, the Focus Blast on there, and get really, really good hit off. And I'm quite tempted to do that, just to see how much this will do, because we don't really have a purely sort of safe switch in with this guy. And Heatran is probably our best stop to our Gardevoir, I think. Miss. That's so bad. Oh. So we're going to have to go for another Focus Blast after the miss. We could have just gone for a Nasty Plot there, and that would have been so much better. Okay, so he's going to be going for Protect Stalling. We can work around this. We'll be fine. I probably could have predicted that, but it was a little bit tricky because they don't always run the Protect. So we're going to go for... yeah, Focus Blast is probably our best bet here. We could actually go for T-Bolt, but I don't really want to make any serious over-predictions, and that does a really, really decent chunk, as he's going to go for the Lava Plume here, and unfortunately I think Toxic is going to take us out this turn, but we have seriously damaged that Heatran. We have still got Morgana for the Garchomp once we Mega Up. I don't know if we're going to be outspeeding though, that's the only thing. Fingers crossed we will be. So from here, we can go out into probably Landorus, to be honest, is our only real option. We have got Morgana actually, which we could go for the Focus Blast, and I think that's what we're going to go for. And we can see from there, because hopefully we can hit a Focus Blast. If we can't, we're going to be in a little spot of bother. Let's see, Focus Blast. Hyper Voice definitely won't be able to do it. Psyshock won't be able to do it. That is our only real option. That is unfortunate. We did miss out our first Focus Blast, because that would have made so much difference, because we'd have had so many less turns of poison and everything like that. But it is a little bit unfortunate, and we didn't really have a safe switch in, especially when Quag is physically defensive, not specially defensive. But then there's not much you can do. That's the problem with Heatrans. So yeah, going for Focus Blast is probably our only real option here. In terms of our switch-ins, I'm not too sure what it's going to be. Yeah, he really doesn't have a safe switch-in, considering that his Pinsir will end up not outspeeding the first turn. We can go for a Hyper Voice after that. I don't think he has an option. He is going to stay in, and we do connect, and we do KO. So that's absolutely beautiful. From here, he has got a lot of really fast threats, actually. And he does go out to the Thunderous here. I think I'm quite happy to stay in and go for a Hyper Voice, because I think that's probably our best bet. Just to KO this, because I don't know how useful we will be for the rest of his team. So we don't, as I said, we don't outspeed the rest of his team as well, so I'm not too sad if we get T-Waved here. He goes to the Sludge Wave, we are able to live that, and a Hyper Voice does just straight up KO. So that's absolutely brilliant. Morgana is definitely putting in the work there. In terms of what's going to come in next, again, anticipating maybe the Latios, he has made a mistake here, going out into the Pinsir, because we do outspeed this first turn, so we can get a free Focus Blast off, which is going to absolutely wreck this guy, even when he does end up Megaing up. I guess he can go for the Quick Attack, actually, thinking about it. Unfortunately, he does go for the Quick Attack. Not a huge amount we could have done, actually, in retrospect, because all the rest of his team does outspeed us, which is really unfortunate. But we could either go for go out into Landorus and go for a Stone Edge. We have got Scarf Stone Edge, so there's always that option. Ferrothorn is another option. I think probably Quag is the best one out of all of our the options that we've got at the minute, because we can go for probably a Toxic just to whittle down whatever's going to be coming in, because I'm pretty confident maybe a Scald is the better bet. I think we're going to go for a Scald, because I'm not man enough. I don't think we're man enough to take 2 hits from a, maybe, I think it learns Double Edge. Normally they run Return, but even then a Return is going to do a really, really decent chunk of damage. He does end up going out into the Latios. It would have been nice to get a poison off on this, but if we can snag a burn, we don't snag a burn, unfortunately. We're going to have to go out into T-Tar, but we can pursue this guy, which will be absolutely excellent. I think we should be able to take 2 hits from him relatively comfortably. We do, yeah, no problem at all with that AV coming in really, really handy there. And we can just go for the Pursuit here, and that should be able to take out that Latios pretty cleanly. And that's going to solve all sorts of problems. And it's absolutely brilliant, to be honest. He has still got, once the Garchomp's out of the way, Actually, I guess even with the Keldeo, we're in a spot above her with Landorus still at the minute. In terms of the usefulness of T-Tar, I don't know how useful it is, considering Pinsir gets close combat. Garchomp gets EQ and everything like that. So I think we're probably going to stay in, and we're just going to go for Stone Edge and let our guy go down, unfortunately. But he does miss the Hydro Pump, which means we can get a really good hit off. Not a huge amount of damage, but it is going to make quite a bit of difference in the long run, I think. We could go out into Ferrothorn, but then I don't think we can take a Secret Sword after that. So we are going to have to go out into Ferrothorn afterwards, I think. Because we can go for a Leech Seed. We should be able to take a hit from the Keldeo. This may be Specs Keldeo, actually. We shall have to see. Thinking about it, that may have been Specs, considering the lack of items. But to be honest, there wasn't a huge amount of point keeping Tyranitar around and causing that risk. The risk reward just wasn't worth it, to be honest. So we can go out into Ferrothorn and just get a Leech Seed off, because whatever's coming in is then going to have to be Leech Seeded, which will be absolutely brilliant. If we have got Stealth Rock as an option, I'm actually quite tempted by Stealth Rocks, actually, thinking about it, because I think we might be able to live a hit with a Secret Sword. Stealth Rocks would be really, really good. We have still got Landorus around and everything like that. And I think that might be our better bet, especially with the Pinsir sort of rolling around at this point. He goes out into the Garchomp this turn. We do get the Leech Seed off this turn. So, I'm just going to go for the Protect, just to see if he has the Fire Blast. He has got the Fire Blast. We caught him out on that one. I think Quag should be able to take that pretty easily. So we're going to go out into Quag. I think Quag is man enough to handle that. Yeah, easily. Don't know what I was worrying about. So we can go for a Toxic here. Toxic's probably the best bet in case that Pinsir comes out. He does have a Toxic of his own. So this is a defensive Garchomp, which is quite interesting. But he is going to be really, really quickly whittled down here. We can go for a Scald, and that's probably our best bet, looking at his team. If we can get Burn on the Pinsir, that would be absolutely beautiful. He does set up Rocks of his own. Late game Rocks, we'll have to see how much difference that makes. And the combination of Leech Seed and Toxic is going to take him down. So from here, he does have the Keldeo as an option, but he's not sure if I'm unaware or not. Most of the time, people do run Water Absorb, so he may be a little bit reticent to go out into Keldeo. But that may be his only option, to be honest. And he may be forced to go for Secret Sword, predicting the switch as well. So I think if he does go out into the Keldeo, we're just going to go for an EQ, play it safe, and see from there. If he goes out to the Pinsir, obviously Scald, try and snag that burn. He does go out into the Keldeo. We're going to have to make a clever play here and assume that he thinks that we're not unaware. He doesn't think, he doesn't realise that we're Water Absorb, or we're not Water Absorb. So we can just go for another EQ here. I think we've got a reasonably good chance of living an Aura Sphere. We will have to see. But it is down to a point where a Stone Edge, unfortunately we don't, but a Stone Edge from Lando should be able to take that guy out. We should be able to take a Focus Blast as well. This is definitely looking to be Specs, and we can definitely take out a Pinsir afterwards with either an Stone Edge or an Explosion. We will have to see how that will work out. But a Stone Edge is going to connect. It doesn't KO, but a Focus Blast isn't going to KO us back. So our game is going to reside on whether we can hit. I'm surprised how little a Stone Edge did, to be honest. But it is going to reside on whether we can hit the Stone Edge or not. And I really don't want to look. So, why? And he connects the Focus Blast as well. So, unfortunately, we have just lost this match because we missed Stone Miss. And he's hitting every single one of his Focus Blasts, which is really, really sad. Apart from that one, obviously, up at turn 18. But still, not much we can do. We're going to have to rely on a Focus Miss at this point and that should then, I don't know if that will win us the game. We will have to see, because we're going to have to then put a Leech Seed up on that guy and all that sort of stuff. So, Gyro Ball is our best bet, just in case he wants to switch out. He misses the Focus Blast. So we're going to go for the Gyro Ball here, and I think Gyro Ball probably is our best bet against this guy. He might have close combat though, that's the only thing. So we're going to go for... no, we don't. Do we want to go for Protect this turn? We do go for the Protect. He does go for the SD. I was worried that he was going to go for the SD. We're going to have to go for Gyro Ball here. I shouldn't have scouted, and I think that's cost me the match. To be honest, we're not physically defensive anyway, so I think we probably would have been KO'd from that anyway. But we would have won if we'd have hit that Stone Edge, but there's not much we can do about that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the Mega Gardevoir sort of bonus extra session, and I will see you guys at the next battle. I'll see you guys at the next session. Yeah, you guys know what I mean. You know, the next video. Macadii out.